it's not a death. It's more like just you just continue to have the agony of the disease, and so you don't. Well, you know, you just don't. You probably want to edit this, but I just decided to have one of those senior minutes. You know, I'm quite old.
So
this is making me older.
So what happened? Okay, so you were an alcoholic for about a quarter of a century, and but then something happened. What?
Well, I almost lost everything. My family, my business, and everything, and in all of that, people used to ask me way back when, you know, you seem like a pretty affable kind of guy. Why do you drink? Don't know. Beats me. I do it. That's me. That's what I do. Well, you asked me why I do it. And I believe that, honestly, I was very fortunate in all of that time. I started going to a Christian counseling center straight away from when I started having things. Now, understand it was in 1983 that things started coming unwrapped. It wasn't until 1986, the early part of '86, that I actually quit drinking for good. So I would do these little round robin things of staying sober on my own for a little bit, and then fall back off and drink, and then be so sorry for it because I know I'd offended God and myself and everybody else, you know, by doing these things. And then finally, one day I was watching an evangelist on television, and he was talking about forgiveness, and about unforgiveness and what it'll do to you. Well, my dad died when I was a baby, and my mother never remarried, and that's just the backdrop. What I believe happened there, though, was I was mad at one for my dad dying, and two for God for letting me, you know. So I think, I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know how this works in the real world or even in your mind, but I think that one of the main things I did was just say, you know, I was unforgiving of that, and if they didn't care what happened to me, I didn't care what happened to me. Now, that's armchair psychology. I don't know if that's how it worked. All I know was that this guy said, even if the person's not around, you can figuratively sit them in a chair and tell them that you forgive them. So I got up. That's what I'm going to do. Put my figuratively dad in a chair, and I said, you know, you didn't want to die. And if I've been holding that against you, I forgive you. I forgive you right now. And I forgive you, God, for taking you because you had your reasons for doing it. I haven't had a drink. Well, I can't say that. I've had a beer every now and then since then. But I'm not a drunk.
But it's not an addiction anymore.
No, like you said, you don't have to limp in. You can run it. You can make it. You don't have to reinforce the idea that you're this person that you're not, because God didn't create you to be that person. And that's basically, you know, the whole skinny. That's it. And if you can, here I go telling somebody how else to do it. That's how it worked for me. And I believe, honestly, now, because when I really get at some real serious thought, I think all addiction comes probably from a self-destruction, and you're mad at somebody. You're angry with either God or somebody, and I believe that's how it happened for me. You know, that's from the what it's worth department, but that's what it was worth for me. And it worked. And you know, and like I said, I'm not the hero here. Jesus is the hero. I was the goat. I was the fall guy here. You know, I was the one. But that's the whole good story about all this is that, you know, I could not do it on my own. It was not in me to quit this stuff. I had to have, I believe, you know, a guy on television. I'm quite sure the Lord wanted me to see it, because when I was doing this, it hurt so much that I couldn't get past this, and I wanted to fellowship with the Lord, and I couldn't do it on that basis.
Yeah.
And you can't do it. You can't. No one wants to pray drunk. You know, what do you pray for? Sobriety? All right. you had that before you got drunk. Why are you asking for it now?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of a squirrely deal, I guess, but that's the way it was with me. And like I said, the reason I think that needs to be told is because I'm sure that in the body of Christ, just like with me, there are people that struggle with this kind of stuff. And I wanted to tell them what, I had done for me. And if anybody wants to talk to me about it, I'd be happy to, because like I said, it's not my story. It's his. I can't tell you though, only another guy or girl that's done any of this kind of stuff can tell you how many people you hurt, how disappointing you can be to other people and to yourself by doing something like this. And for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing. I mean, it comes down to you spend an awful lot of money you shouldn't spend doing it. You spend an awful lot of time that's not, productive, counterproductive. I was in the service for 2 years. I was back when you had to do something. I was in the Navy, and I got to go to Hawaii, Hong Kong, Japan on the ship. I got to go all the time. I don't care anything about seeing the sights of the local culture. I want to just find a bar. 8,000 miles, 12,000 miles away from home, and I'm looking for a place to get drunk. Well, you can do that. We're not at home. I have to do all that around the world. I got the stuff you miss, And you don't develop friendships because of it. Good friendships. You develop friendship with people that drink. I mean, nobody wants to go out with you.